Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
How much sand did you get in your outfit during filming?
It wasn't just the outfit that got the sand.
Well, hey there. How you doing? I'm Dave Fennoy, and you're listening to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. Did I get it right?
The podcast that makes you realize that we are not, nor will we ever be, just a leaf on the wind. So our guest today is a longtime voice actor, and I've been able to catch some of his own Facebook Lives where he interviews other members of the voiceover community. And honestly, if you watch them, they're quite a good watch, very entertaining and educational. Now, you might also know him as Korath from Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series. You may have seen him in multiple video games such as Metal Gear Solid, StarCraft II, World of Warcraft, and, well, many, many others. He's been a busy guy, but you probably know him best if you're a Star Wars Clone Wars fan as the Jedi we all love to hate, Pong Krell. It's our honor to welcome Dave Fennoy to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. Welcome, Dave.
Bravo. That was a wonderful introduction. I was waiting to see how many video games you were going to mention there, because it's like 500 or so somewhere.
There's a few hundred listed there.
You could go on and on and on and on and on, but
we'll just fill our hour with Tim just reading your IMDb.
Reading the list, yeah. You know, I when I first looked up your IMDb list, I was looking at it on my iPad, and I think I sprained my finger just by scrolling, having to scroll down through the list. So yeah, there's quite a few on there.
Yet, Pong Krell is one of the characters that everybody remembers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think because Star Wars is such a big franchise, and he was so deliciously evil.
Absolutely,
that people still remember, and he was such a great character. I was just sorry they killed him off so fast.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, he's one of the yeah. We might talk amongst yourselves. Honestly, he was, like you said, one of those characters everybody loves to hate. But I would, sometimes the villains are people that once you've started to hate them, you want to see more of them. And he was definitely one of the characters that, even though I hated him, I wanted to see more of him. I was actually very disappointed when they killed him off in Clone Wars. And like we said pre-show, I would have loved to have seen him work alongside Dooku and see what shenanigans they could have gotten up to.
What other evil he could have done? Don't clone around.
Well, my day's done. I don't know about you guys, but I'm all right. So
it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
It doesn't. No, I love it. This is one of the things I love about voice actors. You guys are amazing. I love the way that
We're not well. It's our therapy.
And the fact that you can bounce in and out of characters and have conversations between different characters, it's just
and with ourselves,
right?
Huh? You say, huh?
Who really knows if it's actually you talking or one of the characters?
One of the characters in my head. Yes, actually.
So, Dave, one of the things that we love to do with our guests is get to know the person that is here on the other side of the microphone from us, an origin story, so to speak. We like to know how they became the person that they became. So in your case, what were your inspirations growing up and made you want to get into the arts and even maybe look at voice acting?
Wow. Well, I was always interested in performance of one kind or another. I grew up, and after years of therapy, I can say this. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I need all the sympathy I can get from
As
that.
Michiganders, we're very sorry that you grew up in Ohio.
Yeah.
Then I just think of Cleveland rocks.
Well, I was just back there for a high school reunion, and it's much worse than it was when I was a kid. It was really sad. But my parents grew up in a black neighborhood, middle-class black neighborhood. My father was a veterinarian. He had a private practice in town. In fact, first black veterinarian to have a private practice in Cleveland, Ohio.
That's cool.
And my mother was a school teacher. And for my family, it was all about education. My sister, when she was 3 years old, decided she wanted to be a doctor, and she has been a doctor for a long time now. I wasn't quite so clear on what I wanted to do. I knew performance of some kind was going to be it. I played music. I did theater. There's a community arts center in Cleveland called Karamu House. And my parents put me on the bus and sent me there. And I mentioned that because kids don't get on the bus by themselves and go anywhere anymore.
No.
But as a kid, I would take the bus, get the transfer, ride to Karamu House, and I took modern dance, I took music, I took art classes, various art classes, sculpture and painting, and acting. I was in several plays there, and that seemed to be the second place where I was very happy. The other place was playing sports. Ran track, played football, played baseball, and did well with that. So I was doing art and sports in high school, and cycling back to my parents' education thing. They'd sent my sister to a private girls' school in out on the East Coast. And I didn't want to go away from home. I didn't want to go to boarding school. I wanted to stay with my mommy. So they sent me to Hawkins School for Boys, now a co-ed school. And I was one of the first Black kids to go there. We're talking 19, and and it was one of the best things they could have done for me, because they had a good theater program in this high school, which I might not have gotten in a public school. And went off to college as a theater major, but I was also playing music. Went to school for about a year and a half, then got the let's tour and play music bug. Quit school, went on the road as a musician for a while. Realized, I could be a better musician if I were a little more literate in it. So went to Howard University in a jazz program, and continued for a few more years as a musician before I got married, had a kid, and realized, hey, this music thing's up and down, and gosh, that kid doesn't care where the milk comes from, just needs milk.
Right.
And that brought me to radio. I became a jock in the San Francisco Bay Area. My wife at the time was working on her PhD in botany. And I thought I was going to still do music, but I was really kind of letting it go and moving into radio. And the next thing you knew, I was Billy David Ocean on 107.7 KSOL, and also on KDIA, the boss of the Bay. Playing R&B hits for about 10 years. And that's when I discovered voiceover. Just as that career was getting started, somebody mentioned to me, it was a morning guy on a station I was doing some not on air work at, just getting started. Hey, where are you going, man? Well, I'm going over to the city to do some voiceover. I make more money than that than I do on the radio. And a little bulb went off. I didn't do anything about it for a couple of years, but it never left me. It's voiceover. Because he told me, oh, commercials and TV promos, cartoons, man, down in LA, they really can do it. And it just never left. It was a few years before I started taking lessons and really pushing it. But once I did, things went well. In 1990, after 10 years in Northern California, I came to LA to do voiceover, and the rest is history.
There you go. All right.
That's still cool history.
That's
and
a cool story.
Actually, you confirmed some of my research, which makes me happy that the internet didn't completely lie to me. That you left college to tour
it did
as a
lie to you.
musician.
It did lie to you. You looked me up on Wiki, didn't you?
Maybe.
Oh, there's some bogus. There's some bogus stuff on Wiki.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sure.
We can edit it out, right?
But you said that you left college to tour as a professional musician, and that is really cool. I mean, like you said, music is up and down, and you're not always going to get a stable paycheck from that.
Oh no.
But I thought it was cool that you went from a theater major to then being a touring musician. So do you still play?
You know what? I had to give it up a few years ago because I got bad hands. I was a guitar player and I got carpal tunnel and trigger finger. And my right hand now is okay. Had an operation on it. But my left hand, I've gotten some arthritis in the fingers and I can't control them like I would like to. Haven't thrown away my guitars yet, though. Or
Well,
given
no,
them
you never throw away a guitar. That's
No, you never do. But I'll probably save them, give them to my grandson.
Ooh, I'm sure he would love that.
Yeah, that would make it difficult to control the fretboard then. If
Oh
you're-
yeah. Oh, and it after a while it got painful, not only physically but in the heart.
Sure, emotionally,
Yeah.
I can't do what you used to could.
Yeah, but because I'd gone to Howard University in the jazz studies program, I got a lot of really great musician friends, which only makes the pain worse.
I'm sure, yeah.
I like talking about music. I was in choir in school. I was in theater in high school. I was in a jazz group with my mom for a while. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, what did your mom do in jazz?
She's a drummer.
Go ahead.
I know.
I know your mom
Fantastic.
played drums, seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
my
that's
mom
You know,
is
and
quite the percussionist.
that was just a little vestige of sexism on my part, you know, because I was still a little oh, mom's a drummer. And we shouldn't be surprised that anybody's doing anything.
Right. It was a fun group though. It was originally the band's name was Second Chance, and it was supposed to be a bunch of retired people getting their second chance at music. And then their vocalist left, and the upright bass player, who I graduated from high school with his daughter, he's like, "You sing, let's go." I'm like, "Sweet, let's do
There you
this."
go. So, well, why don't you sing us a number?
Oh, I don't get paid enough for that.
Okay, good out, good out. And
It's like
not
you
that
have
this
my
has any-
attention.
not that this has anything to do with me, but just a small note. My wife had an aunt who played with B.B. King.
Oh, cool.
She was a sax player, and she always dressed like a man her whole career. And my wife used to go visit them in Memphis where she lived, and she would tell me there were always these jam sessions and musicians smoking a lot of pot. So
See, I wish I played saxophone. I have one. I just can't make
I know
it do much other
I know
than
what a
sound like
saxophone
goose.
looks like. I mean,
Mine's
that's
a
the closest I'm gonna
special
get to it.
saxophone.
so.
I just haven't found anybody that I can trust to fix it.
yeah, and you got to get somebody that knows what they're doing.
And it's a 1914 CG Con, so it's a C melody.
Ooh, vintage.
It is. It is. It
Yeah,
is
hang on to that. That might be
beautiful.
worth some money.
It is beautiful. It's got the mother of pearl keys. It's gorgeous. It just needs some springs
Tender
and
loving care.
pads, but
You need somebody who knows what they're doing with that thing.
and that's the thing is like there's a couple of music shops around there. They're like, "Oh yeah, we can fix it," or "Hey, we'll send it to Flint to fix it." I'm like,
You ain't sending this nowhere. I'll never see it again.
exactly.
Right.
Like, I want somebody who can fix this while I watch it.
Yeah, there you go. Smart.
You go
Smart.
fix it, on the other side of the glass. That's one thing, but yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, you're not mailing this to Flint. No.
No.
Very
no.
no.
So I noticed the Cubs cap. Are you in Chicago?
No, actually, we're in Michigan. I just like the Cubs.
Oh, okay.
Weirdo.
And
Well-
Nick, you in Michigan too?
Yep, I think we're all in Michigan.
So everybody's in Michigan but me?
Yeah.
How come
Yeah.
I'm stuck in LA?
If it helps you, I can put on my Red Wings hat. I had that on a few minutes ago.
I was
Oh,
gonna
that's
say if it really helps, we got snow this morning.
I got
Yeah,
snow.
that helps. That actually does help.
Actually, it was snowing here about 2 hours ago, so you guys will be getting here shortly. I live on the west coast of Michigan,
Dang it,
closer to Lake
Tim.
Michigan than those guys. And
Oh,
it was
oh,
nice and
oh.
sunny all day. And I walk out, I'm in the back side of our shop where my studio office is here. And I walk back up front and we got these big, fat, fuzzy flakes just falling down. And yeah, so you guys should have some fun here in a little bit.
It's interesting how you put that where in Michigan that you live, because from California, we would never think of anybody saying, I live on the west coast of Michigan. But
Yeah.
you're right on Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, right?
Lake Superior is north. That's
Okay.
by the UP. So yeah, Nick's showing you the
I'm
hand
forgetting
gestures.
my my Great Lakes history. When I was in Cleveland growing up, I just knew the lakes
Mhm.
because we were on the Lake Erie growing up,
Yeah.
and the mistake on the Lake Cleveland.
Right. Yeah, so
And it's
I
funny
live
with-
about a half hour from Lake Michigan,
And I
and
live about 15 minutes from Lake Huron.
Oh, there you go.
and Nick is
And
pretty
I'm
well
in the
landlocked.
middle.
Nick is landlocked, so yeah. But
Nick
yeah,
gets no lake love.
So, Dave, you've been around the business of voiceovers for quite some time. What is a piece of advice that you would give someone that is going into voiceover work?
Well, first, I would say get the training. Don't think that this is just something that you can do like anything else, a sport, an instrument. There are things you can teach yourself, but you will shorten the length of the painful journey by learning some things from people who have already gone down the path, can show you the way. So I would say that. I would also say, don't think this is an easy way to riches. I do very well, but the joy for me is being able to do what I do. It has paid me well, but I've had good times and bad times, or I should say not so much bad times, but some years you make a lot of money, some years you might not. Things go up and down. You have to keep pressing on. The kinds of stories you hear about actors. I was just reading something about, what's his name? That's what happens when you get the gray hair and get old. Samuel Jackson. He was an actor for years. It was 43. He was a failed actor. He was a drug addict. His daughter found him passed out from heroin on the floor, and that kind of woke him up, and he went into rehab. And at 46, he did what's the movie with John Travolta? Come on, you guys know.
oh,
You
Pulp
guys.
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction made him a star, and now he is one of the most bankable actors in the world.
Right.
And I see many actors and actresses that you remember them from this, you haven't seen them for a while, and then their careers come back. You have to realize that you're doing this for love. It's the kind of thing, if money weren't a thing, you would do it anyway.
Mhm.
Money is a thing, and that's one of the obstacles, I think. And when I say obstacle, I don't mean just that you're not making any, but our thought about it, our need for it, it greases the way of life. And if you don't have it, you can't pay for rent and cars and kids and so forth. So that becomes something on your mind. I gotta get this job. I gotta, and when that's there, sometimes that pulls you out of the real ability to be the actor that you want to be. Did I ramble too much there? I think.
No,
we
that
like
is
we
solid
like
advice.
rambles. Rambles are good answers. But solid advice, because yeah, you have to, you have to enjoy what you do, but you also have to do something that is going to put money on the table too. So, and the advice that you just gave, we've asked this question to a couple different voice actors along the way, and they all had very similar answers about not skipping the classes, not skipping the lessons. Do the work to get the work is essentially the vibe we get.
Yeah. Unless you're studying something, you don't know what it is. You can think you know, you can have an idea, but if you're sitting around with your buddies and all of you are talking about this thing that none of you have experience in, it's just BS. Hey, notice family friendly.
There you go. Jolly good show.
Baloney.
So I do a lot of teaching of voiceover, but I also tell my students, look, you should work with me, but work with other teachers as well, because the concepts we're trying to get across sometimes from one person, it's not making sense. They're not speaking quite the language that you understand. And somebody else is going to say the same thing in different words that, oh, that's what it is. And we see this in, I'm sure, a lot of disciplines, but in voiceover, when they say things, oh, take the words off the page, just have fun with it. Oh, that's a little reedy. Sometimes people don't understand what the complaint is. And if they understand what the complaint, what is it that I have to do to get over whatever this thing is that you're telling me about? And most importantly, voiceover is really connecting, taking somebody else's words, making them your own, and touching people here and here.
Nice. All right. Well, that's a nice lead into my next question for you. Well done. You set it up nicely. Now, I had mentioned in the outset that you had done some work with your own Facebook Live sessions, and you've had some notable guests join you in those sessions. And I think if you're looking into becoming a voice actor or learning something about the voiceover community, this is a nice way for people to maybe get a look in, on the other side of the curtain, is to watch some of your Facebook Lives that you do with these other voiceover guests. But what was your impetus for starting these sessions and having these discussions that you have online?
You know what? I almost don't remember what that was, but I just felt like it was twofold. On one hand, there's a part of giving back. I'm a great believer in the multi-religion idea that which you give will return to you tenfold.
Okay.
And I have always found the more I give away, the more comes to me, the more I am blessed. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I think the universe responds to positivity. It also responds to negativity, but in a different way.
Right.
But I've always found that when I share, abundance comes to me. So originally that was the idea, that I would share, and it has increased my knowledge. It has given me an audience and a trust with people who want to learn, because I'm out there every Wednesday, very honest. I do a little bit of research, but most of it's off the top of my head. I'll take a few notes of things I want to talk about, but I'm not saying this to say you shouldn't do research, but I'm not doing a whole lot of research on this topic so I can sound like an expert on it. I have a theory that when you reach a point in an area that you can talk about it for an hour off the top of your head, answer questions off the top of your head, you don't need notes, you don't need to, then that's when you have achieved some mastery that you can share.
Yeah, one of the things I do like about your sessions is the fact that it feels very relaxed with the conversations you have with your guests. It's almost like and this is one of the things I try to achieve on another podcast I host called Focused on Forward, where we're talking about things that we've all overcome and different challenges in life and all these different things. But the whole goal of that is I want people to feel like they're listening to two people just sitting across the coffee table from each other, sitting down, having a hot beverage or a cold beverage, whatever you choose, whatever. And just even lukewarm, exactly. Whatever floats your boat. And but that's the sense that I get from your Facebook Lives. They're very relaxed. It's a very encouraging and welcoming atmosphere. So kudos to you for achieving that. And I think that's a very big thing.
Well, you know what? Thank you. I spent a lot of years on the radio, and you kind of learn to be this guy on the radio. And well, tell me more about that, blah, blah, blah. And but we're also living in a society now where we don't trust too much hype. I know that people are getting away with a lot of hype and things, but I think as people now, and you hear this in voiceover all the time from casting directors, oh, don't sell me, just tell me. Share this information. And that's what I'm trying to do, is share some of my knowledge, talk to other people that may have a different experience. They're working more in other areas. I have had the good fortune of working in what I call the high profile area of voiceover. So I'm on national commercials, TV promos, cartoons, video games, narrations that are showing up on television and National Geographic and that kind of thing. But there is a whole huge business that will never see the light of day on radio or television. There are audiobooks where great storytellers get to give voice to wonderful books and stories. E-learning, where people are teaching now, and that came in handy during this pandemic.
It sure has.
Go to school, and it comes in handy for adults who want to learn something new or get more information about whatever it is that they've been working on. You can find anything on the internet now. You can Google it. Oh, how do I do such and such? Oh,
right.
I'll do some woodworking. Oh, here are the right tools. Here's some projects. Here's how to do it. And it has created jobs for a lot of people who maybe they don't have the acting bug like I do. Maybe they're never gonna knock on the video game animation doors, but they get to have a voiceover career and share their voice and their talent in that particular area with a lot of people and get paid for it.
Well, there you go.
You can learn anything on the internet now.
Oh boy.
I watched somebody take a PlayStation 3 apart and put it back together so that I could figure out how to fix mine.
Yeah, well, see, there you go. And that's the kind. I was one of my neighbors. My wife and I went over and had dinner and some really good wine with them last night. And he is a sound recordist and dialogue mixer. I do some work in some movies doing dialogue replacement and so forth. And she is a producer of films, mostly smaller films, but I'm sure you've probably seen one or two of them.
Okay.
But we're having dinner, and after he says, "Hey, Ken, come here, I want to show you something." And he's got two pinball machines sitting in this little room off the kitchen, and they're vintage pinball machines.
Ooh.
And one, say, a buddy of mine loaned me this one, and this one I bought for $400, and he's putting it together. And where does he learn how to do this? On the internet. And we must have spent a good 45 minutes while the ladies were talking, being pinball wizards.
Hey.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball.
That's right.
Awesome. So thinking about your work, and you said that you are in the high profile voice acting.
Just meaning that people see it, people hear it in broadcast.
Yeah.
Right, understood.
Sometimes when I say that, I think people think oh, I'm doing the very special important work. It's not.
But I do think that it has opened up different doorways for you, because you've been included in franchises like Star Wars and Transformers, Walking Dead, Batman, Murder, She Wrote. I mean, there's a ton of them. So of the ones that you've worked with, is there a particular franchise that you're super fond of? Or
I have had the amazing good fortune to work in just about every very popular franchise. I'm in the Marvel world, I'm in the DC world, Star Wars, Star Trek. Is it okay to say Star Trek with you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Walking Dead, just so many. I just like to work. I love the fact that I have continued to work steadily my entire career. But I think about the Walking Dead game and the character I played, Lee Everett, which is probably the most iconic character I've played. And one of the great things for me about that is I created him in terms of the first performance. I don't know that, since they killed him off, I don't know that there'll be other Lee
What
Everett
Walking Dead
stories.
does, they kill people.
Yes, it just happens. But I think for me, much as I love, I've played Nick Fury and a lot of iconic, especially Black characters. But I think for me, what is most rewarding is the idea of taking a character no one has ever seen, heard before, and bringing that character to life in a world that makes that character popular or touches people's hearts.
Yeah, that's
Makes
cool.
sense.
So outside of work, is there a franchise that you're particularly fond of? I mean, are you a Star Trek fan? Are you a Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I'm more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan. I'm loving the new Star Wars stuff, The Mandalorian.
Yes.
I can't wait for the next ones to come.
Obi-Wan.
Right?
Oh,
May is too
Boba
far
Fett.
away.
I'm enjoying Boba Fett. I like the Mandalorian just a little bit more, but Boba Fett is still pretty cool.
Yes.
yeah, May 25th cannot get here fast enough.
It's far too
the
far away.
Obi-Wan series is. I
Yeah.
want it now.
Yeah.
Like, I
and
love that they're releasing it on the anniversary of the premiere of the first movie, but still.
Our entertainment mythology, because I'm thinking thousands of years from now, they'll be looking at this stuff and thinking it's real. But it's just so amazing. Where, what was it, 1977 Star Wars came out?
Yeah.
And I remember that. I wasn't one of the first ones to go. I wasn't one of the people, oh, Star Wars is coming, I'm going. But when I went, it was like, this right here. And the naysayers, while it was being made in the movie industry, that just did not think it was going to do anything. And funny story and good story for Mr. Lucas. The movies companies weren't interested in merchandising. This stuff, who's going to want it? That's just a bunch of junk. Go ahead, you take it. We're not interested. The millions and billions of dollars that has been made, that Lucas has made from merchandising, is just incredible.
Yeah.
We did a panel at a small Comic-Con about the cultural impact that Star Wars has had, and that was one of our main points. Was it completely changed how merchandising is done for movies, and it's amazing. I can't imagine those movie execs now with that, like, oh, he said no to that, when there are literally people all over the world with lightsabers.
But, now 20, 30 years later, they're having a talk. I did all this smart stuff. I was responsible for that movie. Yeah, but you missed out on the merchandise.
How many of us have Star Wars merchandise within arm's reach? Like,
where is it?
It's just, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, no, you don't have thousands of dollars worth of Funkos behind you.
Yeah, I have some merchandise. It's not within arm's reach. And worse, I have merchandise that I've never opened, that I got for my grandson, who's now 8 years old, and he won't see it until maybe he's 20. Because it's in the box. It's got to stay safe. I do not want him ruining the merchandise, how much it will be worth years from now.
Yeah.
Right.
Your kid, this will get you started in business. Pay your way through college.
My mother-in-law gave my daughter a Darth Vader lightsaber, still in box, that my husband has hid in the closet with the, nope, we're going to keep that one here.
Yeah.
Bought her a $5 light sword at Walmart and did the, here you go. This is the one you can play with until I trust you.
Yeah, well, because they don't understand.
No.
Right.
They don't understand.
It's just a toy.
When my level up lightsaber got here and she did the, can I play with that? And I'm like, yeah, I've watched him bash this thing into light poles. Sure, go ahead. If you can break it, I will be impressed.
If I still had all the Star Wars toys I had when I was a kid, and I had like the Darth Vader face case where you could put the individual, action figures into, and all the different action figures I had. Yeah,
Luke, you are my son.
exactly. Yeah, I'd have been set.
Oddly, the first job I had when I came to Los Angeles was playing Darth Vader for Disney. Some promo they were doing where they wanted a Darth Vader, and of course they weren't going to pay James Earl Jones to fly out from New York. And since my agent was hyping me as a young James Earl Jones, I went in and did this job. It was some kind of promo for the Disney Channel as James Earl Jones. And the first thing they did, they said, "Well, let me hear what you sound like." "Luke, you are my son. The force is with you," or whatever it was. I don't remember what the lines were. And then they handed me a coffee pot with nothing in it. And they said, "Here, just hold that just below your mouth and talk." And of course, you got the little echoey sound.
Sure.
I'm not sure that's how they did it on a movie, but that's how we did it. And it worked. And several times after that, they'd have me do the Darth Vader, and I'd come in, put the pot
Hold the
there.
coffee mug.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm gonna
That's a
go home
cool
and talk
trick,
like Darth
though.
Vader.
There you go.
You glow a little too much under fluorescent lights for that.
You know what? Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you.
Coming from somebody else who glows under fluorescent lights, it's okay.
But you know,
for you to say it.
it's funny because we always think of James Earl Jones as Darth Vader because he was the voice, but it was a whole other actor
Right.
that was doing the physicality.
Yeah.
But he
Now you
didn't.
have-
He didn't have the James Earl Jones voice.
He didn't have the
Now you have
voice.
Hayden Christensen, who is
Yeah.
definitely not James Earl Jones.
I got to meet James Earl Jones once. There was a
Ooh.
very first Voice Arts Awards in New York. He was being given an award, and I was the booth announcer for it. It was being put on by a couple of friends of mine, Joan and Rudy. And so he was backstage, had to sit just a few feet from me where I was, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to blah, 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 blah." And it was like I was geeking out. "Oh gosh, it's James Earl Jones. I've loved him forever. It's Darth Vader."
That would be
And
me.
I went over and had my little phone and said, "Can I take a picture with you?" And he goes, "Oh yes, of course you can." And we took the picture, and he told me that's the first selfie he's ever taken.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
Mm,
That's just cool.
nice.
And he was just such a gentleman.
That is
Just
so cool.
I love you're talking about fangirling over James Earl Jones, and I'm over here fangirling about your fangirl squeal. That was impressive. I don't think I make that sound even. That was cool.
I got a little range.
There you go.
Gotta use it.
So we all have something that is close to our hearts, and do you have that one gemstone throughout your
I
life?
watched the show. I watched the show on HBO. Oh no, that's not what you're talking about. Sorry.
That's a different gemstone.
Is there like a gemstone of a job that you did that maybe not be so well known, but still holds a special place in your heart?
Well, actually, there's several of them. One for years, I was the voice of the Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo. And every week, Showtime at the Apollo with performances by.
Oh, no kidding.
I always loved doing that. And I'm also one of the voices on Time Life music things, which I've done since early in my career when CDs were a thing and VHS tapes were a thing. This is when this gig started. And they're still selling CDs, collections of R&B from the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the love songs, the dance songs.
7,200 of your favorite love songs, all on 7
and
CDs. Yeah.
I continue to do that work. And who knew? Who knew? Most jobs will last you, either one session or maybe a few, but not 30 years.
Right.
And if you go to the Time Life channel, from time to time, if they're doing an R&B thing or a gospel thing, that's me.
That's
Thought
awesome.
I recognized your voice.
But wait, there's more. And if you order right now, not only will you get these 75 great hits,
Oh God.
I just had a flashback.
but shipping
to,
and handling is absolutely free.
Flashback to waking up to my TV still being on.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
3:00 in the morning.
Suddenly
Well, as
hearing
soon
your
as-
voice at 3 a.m.
Right. Well, as soon as you said that you had, done the introductions for Showtime with Apollo, I'm like, I used to stay up late at night just to watch that show and listen to the. Yeah. So, okay, that's cool. It's one of those things where the little light bulb, clicks in the back of your brain. You go, so that's whose voice
Yeah.
that was. All
Yeah.
right. Very
Another
cool.
another job that came out of the blue was the voice of Hulu for its first 8 years. And
Really? Okay.
if you went to Hulu to watch a show, you'd hear me. The following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption by.
That is you.
And,
I'll be dipped.
and it was a gig. Now, nobody knew a thing about Hulu when before it started.
Mhm.
And I was at a party, a friend of my wife's, and she was having a party, and there was a guy there, sad sack, that really liked her, but she had no interest in him. So he's sitting on the couch feeling sorry for himself, and I happen to sit next to him, and he goes, "Oh, hey, Dave, I'm so and so. What do you do for a living, man?" So I do voiceover. "Oh, wow, I'm a producer, music producer, and mixer and stuff. And there's this new thing, Hulu, coming out, and they're looking for a voice. Give me your email address, man." A week later, I'd sent him an audition and became the voice of Hulu, which was like, $200 or $300 a month for the first few months. But very quickly, it turned into, I could live on this gig.
That's
I
awesome.
was so sad to see it go after 8 years.
Honestly, I
But-
miss your intro to Hulu instead of the stopping and the making me choose which of the ads they want me to watch. It's like, I don't
Oh, yes.
want
Oh,
to
yes.
choose. I don't want an ad.
Yeah.
Just go away.
Well, you got to pay a little more.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
I
only way to
don't have
get
time to
around
pay
it.
for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so Dave, one of your best known characters, we've talked about it already, is also one of the most hated in all of Star Wars, and that's of course Pong Krell from the Clone Wars, the Jedi turned separatist. Now, we asked our Facebook group, which has over 200,000 members, and our social media followings, if they had any questions that they wanted to ask of Pong Krell. Now, there's a lot of questions that we won't repeat, but the one that we can repeat, and the most common,
You Pong Krell.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
pretty much. One of the most commonly asked ones was, "Who do you think you are?" But the one that we wanted to share with you and get an answer from you for,
You think you are Pong Krell, traitor?
pretty much, yeah. Is where did you, and this comes from a gentleman named Andy Bentley. Andy wanted to know where you drew your inspiration for the expression of Pong Krell, the character of Pong Krell.
I ain't gonna lie, James Earl Jones.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie, James Earl Jones. I just felt like this could have been his cousin, or could have been the cousin of Darth Vader. I felt he had that kind of presence, but was moving around a lot more. He didn't have quite the stature of Darth Vader, but he was from the same school.
That actually makes a whole lot of sense.
You just
Just
saw
think-
Pong Krell in a whole other light, didn't you?
Oh, completely. That's again, light bulb. But
You're gonna run out
yeah,
of those.
just yeah, I quickly do. That's the sad part. No, but just thinking about how he positioned himself and how he talked to people, and even the voice you were using and doing it.
And even when you see him, I'm Pong Krell. Send the clones here, and I need that immediately.
Holy crap. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's wow. Okay.
Wow, mind's blown.
Oh yeah, there wasn't much left to blow, but you did. You done blown it. It's if you heard that tiny little pop, that was all that was left. But you got it.
It sounded like one of those little bubbles in the bubble wrap. But
Peep. No, that's cool. And so Andy, there's your answer. He drew his inspiration from James Earl Jones and Darth Vader.
And thank you, Andy, for such a smart question. And not,
who do you think you are?
Krell the
Not
finger.
just swearing at you.
It's funny. I used to, with the soap operas, people often mistake the actor for, who the character that they're playing, and cuss them out in public. Oh, why did you do that to Susan? She loved you.
Because the writers told me to.
And one, it's a testament to the actor's ability to play the character, and also the person's inability to recognize reality and fiction. But
Well, there's that.
when you touch people, if that character is making them love, hate, you're doing something right, as opposed to just, oh, that guy sucks, I don't believe him, oh, he's not a good actor.
Yeah. So on that same sort of topic of characters that you've played that people don't like, you have Okir, Eric, and Ronald Taylor in the Mass Effect games.
Oh, wow.
And my husband is a huge fan of the Mass Effect games. So when we were going through your IMDb and he's like, oh, I hate those characters. I'm like, yes, you do. I've seen that repeatedly. I don't want to tell you what's happened to your characters. I'm really sorry.
And those are two very early characters in my career. Okir was one of the very first game characters I played.
So do you think, is it fun for you to be the bad guy in the story, or one of the bad guys?
The bad guy. Bad guys are a lot of fun to play because you get to do things you would never do in real life.
That is true. I do understand that.
And in some ways it might be cathartic for people, but sometimes playing the good guy can be boring if they're always good, which is why more often than not now, when we're looking at whoever that character is that is on the right side of things, often they're more protagonist than hero. They've got some issue. They may be trying to atone, at Lee Everett, trying to atone for some things he did.
Right.
So that person that's not always just, I do everything good and I'm going to save the day. That's not that interesting in motivation as somebody who, maybe they've got a dark past, maybe they've got a secret they're trying to hide. Maybe they did some really terrible things, but now they've seen the light and they're, come to a different understanding.
I wish that I got paid to do that. I mean, I play role-playing games with a group of friends and with my husband, and you get that little glimpse of I would never do this in real life, but my character would.
Oh, yeah.
And so I am going to take my Warhammer and smash that person's kneecaps because that's what fits this scenario. Kathleen wouldn't do it. This character.
I wouldn't do it myself, but I've been taken over by this character, and I think I'm going to eat your liver.
Exactly.
With
Swell
onions
your
and
spleen to the death,
probably.
pixies, it'll be fine. No, but it is fun to get to explore those different aspects, and in a safe environment.
Oh yeah,
you're in
controlled
a
environment.
Controlled environment. Yeah, where the guns are toy guns, and
there's no legal action taken for the things.
Yeah,
that
there you
Pong
go.
Krell has done.
I think it
the
was
people you feel aren't really dead.
I think it was David Sobolov who said that if having a booth in his home, if his neighbors didn't know him better, they would think he was killing somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank God I got a house, and I'm in the basement here. But often I'm talking to other voice actors, especially when I'm teaching, and it's like, oh no, you're playing this character. You got to be louder. You're shouting. And I'm trying to get out of it. And the thing I'll find out is, well, I'm in this apartment and my neighbors, I don't want them to. It's like, oh, okay, I understand, but you got to do it anyway. Just tell them, look, I'm doing voiceover and I'm playing this character, and the character's screaming and killing, and you'll just have to put up with this for the next hour.
You don't want to do the psycho shower scream in an apartment.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because the police may come knocking on your door. Hello, Mr. Fennoy. We've had some reports of, well, frankly,
we'd like to talk.
yeah, we'd
I
like
think
to talk.
also though, David Sobolov mentioned that a voiceover booth would be the perfect place to kill somebody.
He did,
Because
yes.
So
your
quiet.
neighbors would either think, oh, he's just recording again, or not even
They wouldn't
thinking
hear
about
it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, there's a story. A voiceover actor does a lot of video games. There's a lot of screaming and whatnot, but he's also a serial killer.
Oh,
It's like Rear Window part
Dun, dun, dun,
2.
dun.
Rear Window 2022. There you go.
A movie that should never be remade.
strange combination
No.
of Rear Window and Dexter.
It kind of was with Shia LaBeouf in Disturbia.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
but he was just looking out the window at the murderer who.
Yeah, he was just being a
One
punk kid.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a Facebook group with over about 200,000 now.
Yeah,
Wow.
almost 201. We're on the cusp.
And it is just filled with memes. It's this thing mixed with this thing. So what two characters of yours would you like to see come together and either be nemesis or to work together and rule the galaxy?
Oh boy. Now there's a question. Well, since we're all big Star Wars fans, I'll say Pong Krell. And then let's put him together with Lee Everett, who comes from the world of zombies.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Now,
Do you
what
think
they
they
would
would-
do together, I have no idea.
I was gonna say, do you think they would work together, or would they be nemesis?
Oh, well, let's put them together. I don't know how. I don't know why. It was the first answer that popped into my head.
Well, sometimes the
I'm
first
sure
answer
we
is the
could
best
run with
answer.
it. We
We'll
could-
go with it.
And what I mean, Lee Everett, great character, great guy, taking care of Clementine, but he ain't got no superpowers. The Force hasn't been with him. Maybe he could become a Jedi. Ooh, maybe he could become a Jedi as he was dying and therefore not turn into the zombie, or go half zombie, half human, and then be a Jedi halfling.
Ooh.
Could be. I could do.
Only every now and then he's got to eat some brains.
Return of the Walking Clones.
There you go. But typically what we do is we run our cast through a quick little quiz.
Okay, I'll take the quiz. Come on.
All right. Well, we'll do it real quick. This
Oh, but
game,
don't flunk it.
there you go. Well, we'll try not to.
Flunked my 6th grade quiz in Mrs. Blandon's class, and I was never the same.
We called this one "Don't Get Fennoyed with Us." See what we did there? All right. So what this game is about? It's about the first 5 years, according to IMDb, of your voiceover and acting career. Now, this is according to IMDb. Now, on the 5 questions, they're all multiple choice.
Okay.
And so the questions will be about your. We'll give you the name of the show, and it's not going to be according to IMDb. It's when that show first started on the air, not when necessarily you were in it. Okay. All right. Now, if you get 3 of the questions of the 5 questions correct, we do want to send you this "I Gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans" coffee mug.
Come on, just send me the mug anyway.
Well, we can talk.
I know I'm going to screw this up.
We'll talk about it. If you get 4 questions correct, we'll send you the mug and the book that Nick's about to hold up. Right, Nick?
Nope.
Okay. Then we're going to send you this book instead, which is called "The Custodians of the Cosmos," which is where we get the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund information about. It's all about a young man who tried to join something quite like Starfleet, but not Starfleet for litigious reasons, washed out and joined as a custodian to boldly clean up after those who boldly just went.
So he was a janitor.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, however, if you get less than 3 questions correct, we take your picture, we make a meme out of you, and we put it into our Facebook group. If we call it our fun sequence. It's quite lovely, in fact.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do our best. Now remember, 5 questions, multiple choice, the year this show began, according to IMDb.
Okay.
Question 1. New Kids on the Block. Was that 1995, 1993, or 1990?
I want to say 1993.
It was 1990.
You know, something told me I should have said that because it was an early job. Yeah, damn it. Fennoy. No, I didn't say 1990. No, honest.
Right. No, totally.
All right,
Number
0 for 1.
2. Where on earth is Carmen Sandiego? 1995, 1994, or 1991?
Oh, I think that's 1991.
That is incorrect. It was 1994.
I'm sorry, you missed the second question.
You're just going to be off by 3 years on all of these. Darkwing Duck. Was
Oh,
it 1991, 2000, or 2001?
I want to say 2000. Wrong again. Yeah, I know. But I know.
So
Darkwing
before we tell you yes or no, remember that the this is about the first 5 years of your career, 1990 to 1995 only.
Oh. Oh, well, what were those years again?
1991, 2000, or 2001?
Oh, I'd say 1991.
There you go.
I got
right.
one. Yay.
1 for 3. All right, question 4.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, man.
1992, 1994, or 1990?
I want to say 1992.
And try again.
94.
That's
There you go.
correct.
Thanks. You
All right.
guys are You're so helpful.
Let me try.
Trying.
Murder, She Wrote. Was it 1995, 1993, or 1991?
Murder, She Wrote. It had to have been 91.
It was 93.
Was it? It was the first one was in 93.
Yeah.
It's according to IMDb.
I was on that show. I did an episode of that show.
Yeah, according to IMDb, 93.
As we know.
I thought I remembered that show from the 80s. Anyway,
Well, IMDb is not always the bastion of correct information. So
Well, Dave, thanks for being on the show today. Where can our listeners go to find out more about you and what you're
well,
doing?
you can always visit my website, davefennoy.com. If you're an aspiring voiceover actor, you can sign up and get some lessons, or just sign up and find out where I'm going to be doing what conventions and training and so forth. That broadcast that I do on Facebook Live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, is on my Facebook page, but they live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. So follow me there. I do have Instagram. I don't do it a lot. I'll try to do it a little bit more. But say hello. Oh, Twitter at Dave Fennoy.
there you go.
Well, we are going to link all of those in our video and our show description so that our listeners can find you.
Fantastic, I think.
And we just want to remind everybody real quick that subscribing is the single most important thing that you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests like Dave Fennoy here and have these funny moments for you guys to listen to. So please subscribe. It's the little button that you'll see right down there at the bottom, and go check out Dave Fennoy's work at all those awesome places that he just mentioned. And if for whatever reason you are not happy with the content of our show today, please feel free to lodge a complaint with the head of our complaint department. That, of course, is Pong Krell, known for his decisiveness and completion of tasks, no matter the casualty count. Just be sure that your complaint aligns with the ideals of the separatists, not the Jedi. You know, since Pong Krell is trying so hard to be buddies with Count Dooku. If it is, you can be sure that the offending parties will be dealt with swiftly, and you probably don't want to know the rest of the details.
And as Pong Krell might say, up your nose with a rubber hose.
Well, thanks again, Dave.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, this has been. Thank you guys. Tim, Kathleen, Nick, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. And I hope we can do this dance again sometime.
We'd love
we
it.
would love that.
All right, guys, that's it for Funny Science Fiction. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports a Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 72. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt and joins Team Ruby in the battle against the Grim, that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back and what's left of his dust supply.
Plus, his family was happy to see him go. He was a jerk. Terrible husband, bad father. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
And speaking of sponsors and show partners, check out this short video from our good friends over at Level Up Lightsabers. Information about Level Up Lightsabers and their online training sessions can be found in the episode description below.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Copyright 2020 by Drayton Allen. Original music by Jordan Michaels. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned in this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation of or by Funny Science Fiction or its sponsors. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at DraytonAllen@DraytonAllen.com.